Ever stood in an empty room and felt you weren't alone? Psychic investigator Andy Matthews has.
I try and get to the bottom of the truth.
And he's not the only one.
I've gone all through my life, from a very young age, being aware of spirit.
Something's down there. It's really a quest to find out the truth behind what happens to us whenever we pass over.
A former 19th century workhouse can't hide its grim past. Those who work here now say they've seen not one, but two ghosts.
It scares me.
It was really, really scary.
They just felt unease.
There we go.
They believe. The question is, do you?
Nurse, he needs your help.
In the words of those who designed them, 19th century workhouses were the hardest taskmasters, the cruelest paymasters, and the most harsh and unkind friends. Limavady Workhouse, for the 10,000 souls that passed through it, was just such a place, offering hard labour, cold comfort, and just enough sustenance to stave off death.
As I drove along towards this building, I can't help but think that, the sheer desperation people must have felt walking down this long road towards this place. You really had to be at death's door and desperate to enter a place like this. I mean, in many ways, it's kind of like a prison, probably worse than a prison, really, and I kind of dread to think what memories still linger within these walls. Damien?
Hello, Andy.
Hiya, nice
Welcome
to meet
to
you.
the workhouse. This was where the process began. This is where they were first brought, before being brought into the body of the main house. Their possessions taken off them, given a number, and then dispersed into the main body of the house. Women to this side, men to this side. Yeah. Children, boys and girls, segregated further throughout the place.
The splitting up of families was just part of a cruel regime designed to ensure that the poor only came here as an absolute last resort.
When you came here, you were at your wit's end. You could no longer support your family. And in many cases, the parents were at death's door, and it was so that their children would have some chance that they came here. And it is a fact, it's a recorded fact, that many people chose to stay in the fields and the ditches and die rather than face the workhouse. Young children were boarded out, was the term they used, to local mills, local landowners. You can imagine they would come in, pick out the healthiest of the children and take them away. We have found contracts between the workhouse and a wealthy landowner for a pauper child. Unfortunately, we've also reams of documentation cataloguing all kinds and types of abuse against these children, even back then.
One of the ghosts said to haunt this place is not a former inmate, but a former 19th century employee.
A ward maid strangled her baby and hung herself. Not a very nice story really to go into an investigation with, but the fact is that the security staff here at night have heard the cries of babies.
I was just finished my shift about 4 o'clock, and another guy was taking over. He heard it as well, like, it was a baby cry. You think it was in your own house?
Heard a baby down the front foyer crying. You hear it once or twice, or you can hear it more times, depends what part of the building you're on at that special time.
In 1932, the workhouse was closed. The last 20 inmates were transferred to Coleraine, and the building was turned into a hospital, thanks largely to a woman who many believe to be Limavady's other ghost, Dr. Catherine Robertson.
She lived in a great big mansion out the road. She had a family of daughters. It's known that every Christmas, rather than sitting in her big mansion out the road, she brought her daughters in here and they sat with the sick and the infirm who had no visitors on Christmas Day. So a very caring woman, very well thought of. She died in 1935, unfortunately. She was well known around the town because she rode around on a great big white horse, which unfortunately threw her at some time in 1935, and she died from her injuries.
If there's anybody haunting this building, I feel in my heart it could only have been Dr. Robinson. I really do. If a patient was very ill, and went to where the fever wards used to be, then a lady in a tall hat okay, with the coldest hands, very slim, cold hands, would come and tend to them that night. If they made it through the night, they survived, and if they didn't, they died.
Though the hospital closed 10 years ago, the team will spend the next few days seeking evidence of two tragic spirits, one a doctor, the other a nurse. Andy starts with the most recent sighting in what is reportedly the most haunted part of the building.
I was sat at the desk, which is facing just there, writing up my report in the occurrence book, and I felt, rather than saw, something behind me. And when I turned to look out of this window, I saw a shape. It came up to about this height and started to move across, down the windows. It came to the stairs here. It came round the corner and started to go up the stairs.
You saw it all the way up this staircase?
Continued to follow it up the stairs, and when I reached here, it just disappeared. It had gone completely.
Within an hour, the team have set up their CCTV network, but right now, nobody's watching the monitors, because an encounter has already happened off camera.
I was standing at the back with Roddy, and he asked me to check his back, and this is what we've found. Is that fresh? What's red?
It's still sticky.
Still stinging?
Mm-hmm, yeah, it's still stinging. I felt the tingling out there, but only asked him to take a look at it out there. Nope. What do you think?
Let's put your hand up your back.
Not a hope.
No, it's not going to happen.
Not a hope.
Well, it's not uncommon to get scratches, is it?
The thing about it is, Roddy always gets scratched.
Does he?
It's always Roddy.
Somebody doesn't like him.
Well, let's send him back down and see if he gets scratched.
No, I've had enough for one night. Just as scary.
99% of the time you're out on a paranormal investigation, you're perfectly safe. You know, spirit can't hurt you, or entities can't hurt you. You know, they haven't got a physical body, so it's physically impossible for them to hurt you. But I don't know, on this occasion there are scratches on him, and it's in a place where he really can't get to himself. I'm stumped. I really don't know. It's a mystery. I've got no clue. I've got no idea.
Early next morning, Andy's happy to see Marion. She lives and breathes the unexplained, even if sometimes it tends to disagree with her.
I'm saying nothing. What do you get?
It's like hitting me in the stomach. I feel queasy.
You okay?
I'm getting cramps in the stomach. Real bad cramps.
Is that something to do with what you're getting here? Yeah?
Yes, definitely. It looks so beautiful from the outside, but the feelings I'm getting here, you know, I really feel like I could throw up.
You right to go in?
Yeah, let's go. Yes, get in.
Right.
The first room Andy shows Marion is an old dormitory. A century ago, this was a cold and filthy room where female inmates slept on straw mattresses. For many, the deprivation wasn't just physical. Mothers consigned to this place would have had their children taken from them at the age of 2.
There's just loads and loads and loads of energy. They're sick, Andy. They're sick. And nobody's helping them. I feel like that, you know, you got sick, you fell down, you died. They were in a dire state by the time they got to places like this. But this is very Dickensian. The feeling of it is like I'm looking in a Dickensian book.
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist, that type of era. Now, I've got a gentleman.
Oh, you got somebody?
Yeah, I've got a gentleman. He's got a big collar, like it's a bit like mine. Big white collar. Thick coat, warm, thick coat. Stinks, you say. It stinks in it here.
So he wouldn't have slept in here?
Oh, no, definitely not. He's definitely doesn't belong in here. But he's just coming to sort of like have a look. Maybe ask to choose some of the people. Maybe even to go and work for him. I'll have that one, and that one. They look like I might get a day's work out of them. That type of energy.
Next, Andy brings Marion to the staircase, where many claim to have seen a mysterious female figure.
I've got a lady. She may well have been a housemaid or a nurse or something like that, because she's got some sort of garb on that would denote a nurse or a uniform of some kind. Right. I'm trying to think of the film star that she reminds me of, the singer. Oh, what's her name? Barbara Streisand.
Oh, Barbara Streisand, yeah.
Very striking looking.
Before long, word of Marion's discovery gets around.
How did she know about it? And what she's telling me, what I heard her talking about the other day, it's unbelievable what she said. That's true. And it frightened me a bit, even though it was daylight. As well as the nurse, there are a few things, noises I've heard, rustling and everything, just stand up around this area here, and a figure just at that pillar. And when you get up, nothing. Not
The story of the nurse on the stairway, who indeed walks the corridor just below the stairway as well, is very prominent here. I myself really felt some kind of strange presence when I've walked around that area, and Marion, bang, got her straight away. The medium has picked up what other people have seen without having any prior knowledge beforehand.
It's tea time, but as the paranormal team were about to find out, there's no rest for the wicked.
Well, basically, I was in the front room where the sort of tea and everything's set up, and I heard a noise, just sounded unmistakably like a baby crying.
It was like this, like a baby crying. I have a 10-month-old baby. I know what a baby sounds like crying, and to me,
you both heard it.
Yeah, we both looked at each other at the exact same time.
So it's unmistakably a baby crying. It could be a couple other possibilities, but possibly a cat. There's maybe one explanation, although there's no cats we've seen around here.
I was making myself a cup of coffee at the time, and I was just about to pour my milk in, and I heard this noise.
And you don't have it recorded, or do you?
We don't have it recorded, unfortunately.
The reason why we don't have it recorded is because everybody took a run for the stairs to see what was going on, and we couldn't catch anything because of the noise.
Determined not to be caught napping again, the paranormal team move things up a gear. If Marion can see ghosts, Darren's determined to find a way to record them. With her help, he's about to employ a new technique he's developed.
We started to look at colour blindness. Some people see that as a weakness, some people see it as a strength. The military would use people with colour blindness pretty much to see people who are camouflaged. We wouldn't normally see that, they can. So it's opened up a whole new area for us into, first of all, understanding how the eye works, what light can get into the eye, what the eye can sense. What we're going to do now is start off with the very basic blues to see if we can pick something up.
Yes. Different lights attract different spirits, so it's said. But I'm not a believer of light attracting spirit in any way, shape or form. Let's face it, we can get communication with spirit broad daylight. So I don't think blue lights, green lights, red lights are going to affect them in any way, shape or form. Nurse? Are you there, nurse?
Despite Marion's scepticism, the stairwell where she first sensed the ward nurse is now flooded with violet light.
Can you help me? Nurse? Can you answer me, nurse? Please, nurse. Can you come forward?
Nurse, are you here with us? Nurse.
Something there. Call again.
Nurse, will you please come forward and talk to me?
We can't hear you. Could you speak, nurse? 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 Nurse, he needs your help. Her energy's there. I can sense it. She's there.
If she's there, what would be holding her back?
Anything. Us, the light, anything. The gentlemen here think you may have something to say. Could you speak to them?
With no images coming through, Marion decides to change tack.
Can you tap on the window, nurse? Did you hear that? I heard that.
I heard that, but can we account?
And we all heard it. You know, that was, I think, amazing. It's only a tiny little thing, but when you think of the energy it takes for somebody to make a noise when they are not physical, then I think that was quite amazing. Can you tap on the window, nurse?
Another intelligent response. Marion asked the nurse at the top of the stairs to knock on the window. And there it was. Hey presto, a knock on the window. Unexplainable. Paranormal? I would say, yeah.
It's gone. It's gone. It flashed past the lights flashed and off she went. She's gone.
Marion believes she's made contact with the nurse, but with no evidence of the ghost of Dr. Robertson, Andy arranges a meeting with local historian Morrison Stewart in the hope that he can shed more light.
I mean, if a nurse or a ward maid would have hung herself, surely that would have been documented.
That would have been recorded. I'm quite certain the Master's Journal would have had it, and I would think as well that there would have been an inquest, so there should actually be some other public record of the inquest.
But there's none.
But I haven't looked, but I haven't come across anything in the Master's Journal yet. But I'm only up to the 1850s, so I've got years to go.
Dr. Robertson, she never found any trace of her. How does that make you feel? Because I know you two are very keen. If there was a ghost here, then it would be her.
Well, local folklore would have it, as I'm sure you've heard, that the ghost of Dr. Robinson does walk the grounds. But we have quite a bit of anecdotal evidence to suggest that during the hospital time, an apparition, whatever, visited every time there was a death, and that was widely perceived to be Dr. Robinson. And the local people, despite what your medium says, are convinced that she's still keeping an eye over us, which doesn't bother us at all.
The paranormal team have split into two groups, one of which will attempt a new experiment based on the theory that a spirit's imprint can be captured in the white noise generated by a TV monitor. If one happens to pass by, it might just leave its mark.
What we're trying to do here is set up a TV screen with a tuned out channel, white noise playing in the background, have the camera focused in, and the belief is, by some people at least, that you can then pick up some images, faces, that sort of thing on screen. We have to try these things. There's no way we're going to learn or we're going to get any results if we don't try them. Yeah, if there's anyone here with us at the moment, any spirits, we've got some electronic equipment set up here, camera, TV. We'd love it if you're able to come forward and manipulate the frequencies and show us some kind of image or something on screen to let us know that you're here.
After just 15 minutes, the experiment has been abandoned. On the far side of the house, the others have been setting up cameras in the corridor where, earlier, they all reported hearing the cries of a ghostly infant. Now, everyone's been summoned back to base.
There's something going on here. You watch this now. There it is.
Whoa. It just appears.
It just appears.
It appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's just come out there.
Just came out from the ceiling. It goes off up there and then it shoots back down across the floor.
Yeah, definitely.
Look. I mean, it came from out the ceiling, for God's sake.
You've even got the tracers coming from behind it. Beside it.
It's
like a spaceship. It's an extraterrestrial.
That's right. I mean, it changes. As it's moving, it's changing shape.
It's like it spins on its axis, isn't it? You know, like it goes like that.
Does it just disappear?
It just disappears. It happens again.
Where
Well,
am I
we're
looking?
over by the picture.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the picture.
Look, out.
Oh, yeah.
Just out the wall.
It's amazing.
Out the wall.
It comes through here, out.
But it seems to be going back up into the ceiling.
What's that?
That's a light in the ceiling, is
It's a light, yeah, just...
Right, okay, let me go. Let's rule out moss. Let me go up there and...
Rattle it around.
Rattle it around.
You know, in a minute, it does more.
Does more?
Yeah, there's more. Hang on. It's in a different place. It comes straight down here. There it goes. It did it again. Did it again. I know it. I knew it did it again.
Just to rule out insects, I think I better go up and rattle that light area.
Yeah, just a sec though. Just let you know, it does happen again. It comes out of the picture.
No way that's
It comes out of the picture.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's just rule it out though.
Eventually, armed only with a tray, Andy heads off to stir things up a bit.
If there is an insect up here that we can't see, because insects, if they're caught in the right kind of light, can often be mistaken as orbs, but it didn't look like an insect, but just to rule it out, I'm trying it. See if there's an insect hiding in there. I went up there with a tray just to create a current of air. You know, the reason for that being if the fly was in there, it would have flown off and then we would have caught it. But no, there was no insect that flew out of the lights at all. Anything?
No, nothing to report over.
Well, whatever it isn't up here now. There's no feelings or unusual temperature drops up here whatsoever, but I think we should just keep this area monitored throughout the night, yeah?
Yeah, we'll keep that particular area running with CCTV overnight anyway, over.
By disturbing the air, Andy has inadvertently recreated another phenomenon that's often mistaken for orbs. Floating dust.
A light anomaly is what we feel is the first form of spiritual manifestation, really. When you get a really bright light like that, there's absolutely no doubt. Do you remember Andy went running up the stairs just now and flapped about a bit because he thought it might have been an insect making or creating that pattern. But I don't know of an insect that can go straight through the wall. It sort of seemed to do a victory roll as it went past the camera, you know. It's only briefly.
Marion may be convinced, but the paranormal team rarely take anything at face value.
In fairness, I'd be a little bit more sceptical than that. I don't think we can maybe label it necessarily straight away as paranormal. I think we need to look at another couple of things first of all. Can we look maybe at the speed that this is travelling at and see if it's out of the question for it to be an insect? I know certainly from looking at it, it looks like the fastest insect I've ever seen.
I'm not saying it's paranormal either, but I've never seen something appear and disappear unless there's a new insect that we haven't come across yet.
I think it's still a possibility, we can't entirely rule it out.
If it was an insect, it would have to be a series of insects because the first one went off down the hallway, the second one appeared out from the ceiling, and the third one
came out
of the picture.
And then again, right in the middle of the corner.
I mean, these insects need to be admitted to the circus.
The CCTV cameras continued recording through the night. One, focused on an area long associated with the ghost of the nurse, seems to have captured something extraordinary.
Could be some kind of light source, but the fact that it covers the window from sort of top to bottom, it looks like a figure.
Oh, it's outside?
It's outside, just outside in the courtyard, just at the back stairway there.
Strange. We checked the security. Was there any cars last night?
Yes, I checked with security guard. Pretty much the gates were locked, so no cars could have come in first of all.
Really?
There would have been no need to use a torch.
On their walk around?
Yeah, because it's already lit up out there as well.
He also said, Andy, that where the apparition actually appeared, that there would have been steps leading up to a doorway just where that apparition disappears as if through the wall.
Looking at it from that angle where the camera's placed, looking down, if you've got a stairway there, then that would match dimensionally how tall a man would be.
We're left with nothing else.
Plus the light, the light from a car turning around the parking lot would have eventually come across and shone through the window, where that one just stops right at the wall where the door used to be.
Have you ever caught anything like this before?
No, that's the first for us as a team. We've never caught anything like that before.
I've never seen anything quite like that before. if it is what we think it is. And the more I look at it, the more kind of eerie it is.
My view would be there's definitely something going on here.
The glowing shape captured by the camera appears to have walked straight into a solid wall. But there's even more to this anomaly than meets the eye.
This here used to be a doorway and a set of steps put here. And the doorway is leading into an old telephone exchange in the hospital days, which obviously people would have made access into it in and out at all times. The renovations was done about 5 years ago. They blocked it up to make access into the ramp and the disability area.
This investigation has yielded what appears to be an astounding result. The team are convinced that the cameras have recorded the clear image of an actual ghost.
Last night was great because last night wasn't just a matter of I thought I heard something or I thought I saw something. Last night was a matter of this is what we saw, this is what we heard, you know.
Well, I mean, we always go into a location looking for evidence, looking for things like this. When they come up, it's fantastic.
We haven't figured it all out. There is more to life and death, and we've only hit the tip of the iceberg.
The public records and Master's Journal of Limavady Workhouse contain tens of thousands of documents, only a fraction of which have ever been analysed. But everyone that passed through this place was registered, so it's possible that the ghostly nurse and her tragic demise may yet have a basis in fact.
I think this has been one of the best places that we could have come to. One of the best.
What do you feel?
Robertson.
What do you feel from this picture?
Not a lot. No. No. Are you here? Do you come and have a little look round?
This is, as you can see, Dr. K.O. Robertson. You say you're picking nothing up from the picture, but have you come across this image since we've been here?
No.
At all?
No.
So she's not here?
Definitely not here.
Oh,
no.
Really? Okay. For me, Limavady has to be probably one of the best investigations I've ever done. I mean, we've had everything. We've had EVPs, we've had intelligent responses, we've even had one apparition. Unfortunately, though, Dr. Robertson never made an appearance, but according to the legend, she only appears when somebody within a building's dying, so, you know, perhaps that's just as well.